It's an agave. This is an agave, and it's a succulent, and also known as Perry's century plant. And the plant usually lives about 25 years, and once it makes this big, huge stalk like this, then it dies. And this stalk can be used to make a hiking stick. You can cut it, and also Native Americans would burn out the pithy middle and use it to carry water. And also the Apaches would use it to make a fiddle out of. And they would have a one-stringed tunable fiddle out of the yucca stalk.
It's agave, yucca.
Agave. And over here's one that's not dead yet.
Gee, we got a whole bunch of these guys and some young boys in dirt bikes. What were those things? Dirt bikes? Crotch rockets. But they were crotch rocket kind of things. Yeah, they came by earlier. So there's a lot of ways to get up here. But of course, Johnny Ringo's is the best.
This is the middle that becomes that big, huge stalk.
Of the agave.
Yes. Yeah. And the blue agave is what you get your tequila from.
Right.
But this agave, also known as Perry's century plant, this is where that whole big, huge stalk's going to come from. Now, the middle of this, the Native Americans would cook that and eat it like an artichoke. It needs to be cooked. I've been told that if you tried to eat it raw, it's poisonous, so it needs to be cooked. Also, these leaves can be pounded down and used, once again, see the fiber, and be used to make cordage out of. Also, to the cowboys, it was known as the one-way plant, because as you see, all the spikes are facing backwards. If you get impaled on this, to get up off of it, it's going to like rip your guts out or something. And this is the plant, the Apaches. The Apaches was one of the few tribes of Native Americans that did have their own alcohol called Tinswin. And they would bury this and ferment it somehow and make their own alcohol out of this, out of the agave. This is, if you're in the Sonoran Desert, the prickly pear and the teddy bear cholla, which up here you're out of the desert, so we don't have a teddy bear cholla to show you. But the prickly pear and the teddy bear cholla is the only ones that are edible, the cactus itself. You'll eat this pad. Somebody has shot it. But you can buy these at markets or Mexican market, and it'll already have all the spines and glockets taken off of it. And as you can see, the fiber in here, inside that plant, inside the pad, it's eaten just like a side green with your...
Nopalitas, they call them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you eat that 2 or 3 times a week, besides being, don't deep fry it. But if you eat it 2 or 3 times a week, bake it or blanch it or boil it or steam it, it can help reduce your cholesterol by about 20 points and control your sugar and insulin levels.
Also in Mexico, if they give you a tuna salad, tuna is actually prickly pear. When you get a tuna salad in Mexico, there's no tuna fish in it, because tuna is atún.
Oh,
and
really?
so yeah, so when you have tuna salad, it's a cactus. I think it's prickly pear.
Oh, really? Well, this is an old fruit from last season, and you can eat the fruit, but this is one of the 2 cactus that you can eat the flesh out of it too. A lot of Native Americans in ancient history cultivated these as crops. Later on, you see there would be a white fuzzy cotton candy look caught into these spikes, and that's actually the cochineal bug, and it was used by the Native Americans to produce a red dye. And when the Spanish came out here in the 1540s, they figured out they were eating it as a plant crop, and also they were using that bug to produce that dye, and red dye was in high demand. So the Spanish got all excited about that, so they took the prickly pear and spread it all over the place. It's everywhere. There's different species of it, but it's everywhere. And they also extracted that red dye from the cochineal bug. And during our Revolutionary War, it was the dye for the British redcoats.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the prickly pear. And right here's a piece of some of that mistletoe I was telling you about. This is the desert. No, wait a minute. Yeah, that's it. That's this mistletoe. Look how it's grown. Look how it's grown into the tree.
So it's like a fungus on the
It's
tree.
a parasite. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
And how does
desert
it get
mistletoe.
there?
The phainophilia poops it into the tree, and it gets its roots into the tree, and eventually, if it doesn't die itself, it's going to grow over, encompass this tree and kill it.
That's in Alaska too. They talk about that. The fungus
Really?
on the trees, and it kills the tree.
Yes, and this is another scrub oak right here.
So that bird that you were talking about, phainophilia, he looks a little like a
It looks like a
black
cardinal.
cardinal.
Yeah.
And he makes what kind of sound? And then
And
he
he goes,
flies kind of strangely. And he's up in the air when he flies like that, as opposed to being on the ground like a quail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we're walking back here. Left Jeanette behind to fight the bear herself.
Or the traffic. She'll fight more traffic than there.
Lots of traffic up here.
You girls ain't scared, are you?
Bear, yeah. Mountain lions, that would scare me. Whoa. Got a little caught up here in this bush with no hands.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, walk where you're going. Walk with that.
Yeah, I got her. Whoa! Finally, way up the top.
You're listening for bugs?
No, I'm trying to get that vanilla smell for you.
Oh.
So these trees smell like
Bark
vanilla.
smells
So
like-
hopefully you folks watching
Oh,
this
yeah.
video.
It smells tiny,
And
but
smell
there's a little bit of a hint of vanilla to that. Right there where I just carved it off. Take a
Oh,
whiff there.
oh, that smells wonderful, doesn't it?
And that's your ponderosa pine tree.
Ponderosa pine tree.
Yes, that does smell very good.
Very good.
Yeah, when we
Here's
was up
a
at the
cone
canyon,
if you guys
we were
want.
driving. We
Here's
passed
your
a bunch of these
souvenirs.
trees,
There we go.
And we said, boy, does that smell good.
So what we have here, she's picking up off the ground, is called rose quartz.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that that's what they extracted the gold out of.
Back in the 1880s.
All right.
So the richest mine today is in South Africa, and it takes 8 tons for 1 ounce of gold. So.
Yeah. So here we're looking at the Four Peaks with the snow on it.
The north side.
North side. We got a campfire here, a campsite. This is a camping area, picnicking area. We'll walk up here a little bit. So we're eating our lunch here, and this is the view we have of the lake, and the mountains, and the haze. It's beautiful.
Okay. This is Brown's Trail at Four Peaks, and Brown's Trail will take you all the way to the top of Four Peaks, and the summit is 7,657 feet at the top, and it's the highest elevation in all of Maricopa County, and Maricopa County is our largest county in Arizona, and this is the trail that you take to get to the summit. And also Four Peaks here, while you're here, it has Arizona's largest, densest population of black bear. So as you're hiking along the trail, you might want to sing a little tune or talk really loud so they know you're around and there's no surprises. And also here on the Four Peaks is Arizona's world famous amethyst mine, and it's in the wilderness area now, so it's mined intermittently with helicopters, but you can still buy Arizona's amethyst at a jewelry store in Fountain Hills yet today. And initially this was called the Los Dos Chichis by the Spanish, which means the 2 sets of breasts, and Eleanor Roosevelt changed it to the Four Peaks back in the 30s or 40s.
It's a good Victorian thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah, Rebel, would you turn around so we can see your beautiful hair?
Oh.
I think y'all can tell she's not a native Arizonan. She's from West Virginia.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the hair ain't attached to the hat.
Ah, that's right. That's right.
It's separate. So.
All right. Thank you, Rebel. Now, would y'all believe I went all the way to the peak? So what we did is we left Harold's Corral about 8 o'clock this morning and ended up here and ready to get out for our picnic at, I'd say 11. And now we've been dinking around and it's 12:30 and we're going on home. And you can see there's some other cars and things up here and Honda motorcycles and some other folks who've been visiting up here. And we're heading back now.